Well, boot up your smart disc, maybe listen to a little Marley, because we're going to the concrete jungle, baby. It's Filmshake, the 90s Movies Podcast. I'm Jordan.
And this is Nick.
And this is episode 92. Today we're talking about more movies from 1990, and our main movie will be Predator 2. This is Nick's pick. And Nick, you also picked a movie for our punishment film, or once upon a time we used to call these the Fallen Warrior review. I feel like that's kind of fitting for this episode because we've got these two action movies with warriors and lots of falling.
Man, I thought these two movies would go well together, Jordan, but they really went well together.
They did.
Our punishment movie is I Come in Peace.
It's Christmas. Someone special is coming to town, and it's not Santa Claus.
I come in peace.
Jack Kane, a cop who does things his own way.
What are you doing? The shortcut.
He's sensitive, understanding, and kind to strangers.
Merry Christmas.
But all that's about to end.
I come in peace.
3 well-armed men have their throats cut before they can even draw their weapons. Who could possibly move that fast?
Aliens.
Say what? Are you crazy? It's true. You need a psychiatrist, Jack.
Your psycho stole a lot of heroin to kill people with.
What are you gonna do? Tell them we're fighting drug dealers from outer space? Huh?
I come in peace.
Dolph Lundgren,
And you go in pieces.
Dark Angel.
That's right. AKA Dark Angel. Because if you look this up on IMDb or Letterboxd, that's what you're going to find.
Why? Why, though? Can you explain this to
Originally,
me?
they titled it Dark Angel, and then I guess they decided that's a bad name for a movie, and then called it I Come in Peace, which might also be a bad name for a movie. A bad name for a badass movie. I really like I Come in Peace.
Oh, it's very enjoyable. I did not realize until his name flashed on the screen. I talked about this a little bit last year when I was doing all the 1999 stuff. My favorite miniseries of all time is Storm of the Century, which Stephen King wrote directly for the screen, and it was directed by old Craig R. Baxley.
Craig R. Baxley
works really well with Stephen King. I did not realize he directed I Come in Peace, which why does that guy tell everyone I come in peace as he's killing them?
He's
it's
obviously
so weird.
not there in peace. He's just trying to throw them off. We're talking about the 7-foot giant drug dealer alien that doesn't come in peace to, is it New York City? He's hunting down people.
It's Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. I don't know where we're at. But basically he injects people with heroin and then stabs them in the forehead to steal their endorphins. But yeah, Craig R. Baxley, he's awesome. I did not realize he directed Storm of the Century, the miniseries you're really in love with. But, you know, he directed something else that I'm really in love with. Do you know what that is, Nick?
What's that, Jordan?
Stone Cold, with Brian Bosworth and Lance Henriksen playing a man named Chains. This is just one of the kind of awesome I don't know if you'd call it underground. I guess it's probably somewhat well seen, but it's just a badass action movie with Brian Bosworth as the beefy lead. So very similar vibes to I Come in Peace, probably even more over the top action in that. So if you enjoyed this, definitely need to watch Stone Cold.
I think it's a credit to Baxley that he directed this, and then Stone Cold, there's definitely a cult of respect around Stone Cold as an action film. But then Storm of the Century is a very meditative 6-hour piece where basically Tim Daly gives like a 30-minute long philosophical argument that I won't get into the gist of again because I've done it before, but it matches. If you listen to our Saving Private Ryan episode, I give the same philosophical argument.
It's so weird. Like, for this guy, he was a stunt director. He did, stunts on the first Predator, and didn't he? I am thinking of the right guy there. Right?
I think you are thinking of the right guy, Jordan. He's so talented.
Yeah, he's a stunt guy, and then he goes into directing these action movies, which is a really good fit. But yeah, then making some other stuff like that just seems so out of left field.
He was actually second unit director on Predator. He had worked his way up by then.
Ah, nice. Well, yeah, what do you got to say about I Come in Peace, other than the title?
I did enjoy this. It is kind of trash. Dolph Lundgren, growing up, obviously he's like the villain of the 80s because I grew up on Rocky IV. I love Stallone. Rocky's like my favorite movie character of all time. And even Stallone himself said about Dolph Lundgren, like, basically he casted him in that part because he's like, I hate this guy. He's bigger than you. He's stronger than you. He's better looking than you. He can fight better than you. And to add insult to injury, he's smarter than you. Because he's got like a master's degree in engineering or something. But you know what? He doesn't have the charm of a Stallone, or dare I even say the acting chops of a Stallone. But he's very fun. He's very fun in this movie and enjoyable, even if his acting isn't great and his American accent is pretty terrible. He's enjoyable. But I do think he gets outshined by his partner here, who I really love in everything I've ever seen him in, and that's Brian Benben, Jordan.
You think he outshines Dolph Lundgren in this? That's wild to me.
I love Brian Benben.
I mean, he's good as the sidekick partner, but I mean, I would say Dolph Lundgren has some charm. He has swagger. It's not as comedic as like a or charming as like a Schwarzenegger or Stallone can be, but he's kind of got this understated swagger about him, which I kind of like in an action lead.
I guess so. I mean, he's fine. He's not terrible. He's not like on the level of Stallone. There's a reason why in a movie with Stallone, he's the villain.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, to your point, him and Ben have good chemistry. I feel like they play off each other well in this. Lundgren does a great job as just being the kind of off the chain, just ridiculous cop who's just gonna, take out the bad guy. It's personal. His partner's been killed. He's gonna, go after the bad guy no matter what, and he's not gonna play by the rules. And then, Ben comes in as the FBI agent who's assigned to him, and he's all by the book. So yeah, it's typical buddy cop kind of stuff, but it works really well.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is a credit to Baxley too, and his skill as a director. And the cast here is a lot of fun. I especially like Sam Anderson, who's the underboss of the White Boys, the drug gang.
The White Boys, yeah. What a name for a drug gang.
He plays so many TV parts I love. He was Sam in Perfect Strangers. He was Bernard on Lost. He was very evil in Angel. He's a lot of great TV parts, and he's a lot of fun here. He's just, I don't know why. He's really good at being evil, except on Lost where he's not evil.
Is that one of the guys in the opening who they're like robbing the evidence room at the police department and then they just blow it up?
Whenever Dolph Lundgren goes to the boardroom, the guy that he's pointing the gun at, where he's like, you're the boss of the White Boys, so I'm coming straight for
that
you.
Guy, yeah. I'm thinking of that one of the evil looking henchmen. I don't remember.
No, Jordan, this is like the whitest of the White Boys, which is why he's the boss. Except he's not quite as white as the lead alien here, who's like 8 feet tall with white hair and white eyes.
And white, yeah, he even has white eyes. Yep. I'm like, is that a drug reference? Like he's done so much heroin or endorphins himself, He's just like completely glazed all the time.
It's so ridiculous. And then Jay Billis, the former basketball player who played for Duke, so I just never liked him when I was a kid because I hated Duke so much. he looks ridiculous here. He plays a Zek, who's like the alien police officer who's chasing
the good alien.
The good
who's
alien.
hunting him down.
Dude.
He's got the worst haircut in any movie I've ever seen. Where he's
it
like,
really is the worst hair ever.
It's like the front part of his head is shaved, but then he's got a mullet in the back. It's so bad.
It's terrible. What did you think about the 5-second cameo that Al Leong, who's like bad Asian guy in every 80s and early 90s movie here? He just pops up for a second and steals some money and he's like, haha, got you.
Right, and then he gets killed in an alley by the bad alien.
Stupid
I just love how anytime the good alien comes and shoots at the bad alien guy, he's just running in this trench coat and he's like, there's just bombs exploding in the background as he's running away on top of cars, through a parking garage. Everything's just blowing up, but he's very limber. He's just hopping away in his flowing trench coat. He, looks very graceful for this giant 7-foot alien.
He's extremely limber. And there are a lot of explosions in this movie. There's so many explosions.
Baxley loves his explosions. We also have a small moment in a titty bar, which you see a lot of that in Stone Cold. So I guess he has an affinity for that as well.
I love that his dad was the stunt coordinator for the movie too. That makes it even more special.
That is special. So there's an opening with a guy in his car and he's fooling around with his CD. And his CD player won't work, and he's fussing about how his car, $70,000 car, and CD player's a piece of shit. And then he gets into a wreck, and then out of nowhere, a spaceship falls and blows up his car. And then when he's blown away from the car, he looks down and we see the CD that's all burnt and stuff. I thought that was a nice touch. Because then later we discover that the alien has this disc, this very seedy type of disc that shoots out of his arm and can just cut people's throats. And it's some frequency set to the human body or something, but gets stuck in a speaker magnet. So there's a lot of seedy imagery in both of these movies, actually.
Right. So this movie had an $8 million budget. Dude, do you think that big cassette paid part of the budget for this movie? Because CDs don't come out looking too good. It's hey, if you get an expensive car, the CD player is going to be garbage and aliens will try to kill you with CDs. Right. You should listen to cassettes.
That's right. This is a promo for cassettes, I guess.
Yeah, you might have to rewind and fast forward them. You can't skip songs and the sound quality is kind of crap, but they can't kill you. Space aliens don't use them as weapons.
That's right. CDs, that's just too sharp. You can cut your fingers on it like Ben does.
Ben, dude, I love when Ben gets the alien gun and he gets so confident. I love his confidence the whole movie, where when he meets Lundgren, he's like, are you jealous of me because I make twice as much money than you and I'm way more accomplished? And in almost any other movie, it would be this guy sucks, and he would just be a punching bag the whole time. And Baxley and Ben both are nah, this guy's awesome. He's going to be so lovable this whole time. And Lundgren is the obvious hero, right? He's the one who is the most heroic and the most skilled. But Ben gets the girl. He gets the girl, even though anytime Ben gets hurt, she's like, Ben! And she runs over to him, and tries to help him.
You're making me think of Tintin. But yeah, I mean, you're right. In other buddy cop type movies, this guy you'd hate him. He'd suck really bad, or he would be looking up to Lundgren's character, right? And wanting to be cool like him and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do like that he just kind of has this confidence about him. So that does set him apart.
Right. And I love the moment where he betrays Lundgren. He's like, nah, this evidence is going back to my boss. I'm not, you can't keep this, and forget you. I'm not on your side. I'm on my side. And his boss is going to shoot him in the head. He's going to shoot Ben in the head when Ben's not paying attention. And this is the moment where, again, you would be like, oh, good, he needs to get shot in the head. This guy sucks. But no, when Lundgren saves him, it's like, yes! Thank you, Dolph.
Well, yeah, and he has that moment too where his boss, the FBI guy, wants him to betray Lundgren, or basically we'll take out Lundgren. We won't let him live, basically. He knows too much. And you see Ben kind of lower his head, and he's kind of coming to understand what he's involved in, right? And he's very regretful, I think, of the side he's chosen, basically. But yeah, this whole time he's tried to play by the book, and yeah, even at this last moment, he's kind of betrayed Lundgren to basically try and do himself some favors to maybe like be boosted up within the FBI, maybe, just kind of look good for his boss that he got this weapon. He's not gonna like go off and break the rules like Lundgren or like catch the bad guy, because at this point they're all saying, well, yeah, there's nothing to see here. We're going to take care of this. And basically their plan is to study this alien as he kills people to learn more about the technology so they can use it for the military. Right. Do I have that right?
Just like Predator 2.
That's right. It's the same fucking movie.
And they came out the same year. It's so weird.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't spend too much more time on this, but one last question for you. What did you think of Betsy Brantley as Diane Pallone, who plays the coroner, and she plays Dolph Lundgren's girlfriend?
I thought she was all right. She wasn't notable. They didn't do a whole lot with the character. I mean, they set it up in the beginning that she's mad at him because he's disappeared for 8 days. We don't really understand why. He's gone rogue. Their relationship's on the rocks, but then he comes back into her life and woos her. But then at some point he promises, when the whole case has been closed and everything, he's like, yeah, let's take a trip. And then the alien pops up again. He's like, oh, never mind. And then, she gets involved in the climactic shootout and everything. I mean, she was all right. They just didn't really do a whole lot with her. And maybe that whole angle of the movie is like underdeveloped and debatably necessary. I don't know.
I guess I just have a soft spot for her because she has a soft spot for Ben. Because at the end of the movie, they have the freeze frame.
You just
at
love
the
Ben
end.
Ben.
I love Ben. I love Dream On HBO before they really started doing prestige television. And they just had shows that if you're a teenager, you're like, it's 11 p.m. and HBO's series is on. Arliss is on, or Dream On is on. That's pretty much all they had. And there might be boobs in it. He was the star of Dream On. So that's where I came to know him as a young man. But I love how at the end, whenever they're like, all right, we killed the alien, now we can go on vacation. And then Ben like jumps in the frame and he's like, and I'm coming too. And she's like, yay. And then that's the freeze frame is the three of them all smiling. It's such a nice little ending, Jordan.
Does he say that at the end, that he's going with them?
Basically, yeah. Like,
wow.
Ben Ben's gone on this trip with him, Jordan. Do you think he's not going with him?
It's gonna be a threesome, yeah.
Like, he'll probably have his own Ben room. Like, every time they try to get busy, like, he's gonna knock on the door, like, every time they're about to do it. He's gonna be like, hey guys, come to the tiki bar.
Right. He's going to interrupt them every time they're about to get it on. Yeah.
And then it turns into a sitcom, Jordan, and that's like the whole point of the sitcom.
I do like the freeze frame of them all smiling after they blow up the alien. I do like some of the one-liners we have here, especially the end where the alien says, I come in peace, and then Lundgren says, but you go in pieces, and then he shoots him with his alien gun and blows him up. It's pretty great.
Yeah, Lundgren has some interesting one-liners at the end of it. He has another one. What is the other one-liner he has?
Fuck you, spaceman.
Yeah, the way he says spaceman is amazing.
Fuck you, spaceman.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I mean, it's not like, Shakespeare or anything well written, but it's the delivery that really sells it.
It really is.
Great.
But Jordan, why aren't you excited about the new sitcom, It's Ben? I'm telling you.
It's Ben. Is that the name of it?
Every time Dolph and Betsy want to do it, every time they're about to, Ben knocks on the door and he's got another idea for something they can do in Hawaii and some wacky hijinks they get in. And that's how the show starts every episode, Jordan. They're like, finally, we're alone. And then knock, knock, knock. It's Ben. And he's like, let's go whale watching. And then they go whale watching. And I don't know, the boat gets knocked over by the whale. And then they have an adventure for an hour.
Obviously, you're much more invested in Ben than I was. And I was more interested in Lundgren and this goofy looking
Well,
alien
Jordan,
blowing up stuff.
then they're pissed at Bin Bin because they're like, we were going to get it on, and then you made us go on this adventure, and it all went to crap, and we're about to die. But then, Jordan, every episode, Bin Bin does something to save the day at the end, and they love him again, until the beginning of the next episode where they try to get it on again, and he interrupts and makes them go on another adventure, Jordan. At least 3 seasons.
But you're not telling me anything about any explosions or any aliens with white eyes or heroin.
Hey, Jordan, when the boat tips over from the humpback whale, the boat can explode, Jordan.
What did you think about the hose thing that comes out of the alien's arm and stabs people in the chest and injects them with heroin?
You know, if that had happened in Wild at Heart, I wouldn't have been shocked. That would have been par for the course.
That's a very par for the course. Yeah, that can be our movie connection.
Yeah, I enjoyed it in this movie. It was. I didn't understand what was happening for a little while, but once I figured out what he was doing, I was like,
right,
nice.
Yeah, at first it is kind of mysterious. Like, what is he doing? Stabbing people in the face? Stabbing them with a hose and then stabbing them in the face? I don't know what's going on. Oh, he's a drug dealer alien. Okay. He wants their endorphins. What kind of premise is that, though? Like, would you, like, only in 1990, I feel like you would get such a crazy ass premise. Like, this drug dealing, murderous alien is trying to, like, kill people to make drugs out of them.
Yeah, this movie can't quite live in prime 80s or prime 90s, only right here in this in between no man's land.
I feel like it's a good point, though, or we should bring up, like, it does have a lot of 80s vibe to it. Like, it's got a lot of holdover from the 80s in it. Just big macho lead, all the explosions, ridiculousness, the buddy cop comedy type stuff. There's a lot of elements here. I mean, obviously, we get a lot more of that in the 90s, too. But, yeah, it has a very, even, like, the way it looks, like, has a very 80s vibe. Of course, I did watch it on the VHS tape, so I could add to that.
Well, no shit, Jordan. I bet it did look like an 80s movie.
But all those elements, too, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, gotcha. Because I'm thinking, like, I mean, it looked like a 1990 movie to me, but I watched, like, an HD version of it, so.
Yeah, I think the first time I watched it was in HD, and this time I watched it on the good old VHS. And again, I feel like it did add to the charm and the vibe of it that I think I might have enjoyed it even more this time.
Wow. Well, I feel like your score's going to be a little higher than mine. What's your score for this?
I'd give it a solid 3.5 out of 5.
Well, it's not that much higher, because I give it a 6 out of 10. So you're just a little higher on it than me.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Rad. Well, will our scores be quite so close for 1990's Predator 2?
I am curious. I'm wondering if we're going to like wildly disagree on this movie or come to the same conclusion, but we'll have to get into it. What's your experience with Predator 2?
Well, I didn't see the first Predator that early on in life. They came out in the late 80s when I was too young to watch a rated R movie. And by the time that I was 13 in the early 90s to mid 90s, it wasn't like really prime in the discussion. It wasn't in that I gotta watch Predator, it's a rated R movie discussion. So I didn't really see it until the late 90s and early 2000s, because my cousin Rhett was like really big on Predator. Like he found out I didn't watch it and he was like, you have to watch it tomorrow. Like when you get home, like on the way home, you need to rent it and you need to either watch it tonight. We had a conversation about this at like 2 a.m. He was like, you either need to watch it like when you get home this morning or like after you wake up. And I did. And
Nice.
I watched it, and of course, I was like, well, that was awesome. I do wish I had watched that sooner.
Right.
And it's really good. And for this episode, I watched every Predator movie. All of them.
Of course you did. That's amazing.
And you know what, Jordan? I only like 2.5 of them.
Two and a half.
This is not a great series. And obviously, the first one is the best. But
of course.
the second movie, I think I saw part of before the first one, maybe.
I was the same way. Yeah. I have a very distinct memory of seeing just the end of this movie on like Stars or late night TV, some movie channel or whatever. Like the part where Danny Glover's hanging off the side of the building and the Predator is fallen into the ladies' bathroom. I have very vivid memories of just watching this movie from that point. And so I don't think I'd ever seen the first Predator. I'd just seen this part and I was like, oh wow, like this is pretty rad. And then I watched the whole movie, which, spoiler, wouldn't say
feel that way anymore.
I didn't feel that way overall. I mean, I think this movie's got some cool stuff in it, but yeah, that last part, probably the best.
Yeah. I watched this on the Encore channel in the late 90s. This was one of those movies, one of the millions of movies I watched on the Encore channel, which for some reason on basic cable, they gave us a movie channel with unedited movies. And I started watching it, and I thought, man, I don't know if I'm going to know what's going on in this, because it's a sequel, and I know I haven't seen the first movie, and then, the movie starts, and it has not a lot to do with the first movie.
Right.
As far as, like, the actual plot, other than, like, one reference to the first movie. So I was like, okay, I don't feel lost at all. And then, Jordan, it got to the scene, like, the sacrifice scene, where you basically have a graphic sex scene, then all of a sudden it turns into a ritual satanic sacrifice scene, then it turns into a slaughter scene where the Predator comes in and kills everyone.
Right.
And I remember thinking, like, I was like, I don't know, 16. I wasn't like a little kid, but I just thought, like, I'm going to use the word one time that I used a lot in the last episode. This is yucky. I don't like this.
Right. That's a pretty rough scene, yeah.
So I turned it off for like 20 minutes, and I did put it back, and I did watch the rest of the movie, and I didn't watch the whole movie again until like a month ago for this episode, and since then I've watched it a few times.
Okay. So you hadn't seen the whole thing since like a month ago?
Yeah, and by whole thing, I mean the entirety of that scene I described and the 15 minutes after it, since that scene's about 5 minutes long.
Okay. So you had skipped over that for like all of your life until a month ago.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
I watched Predator 2, and then I watched Predators, and then I watched The Predator, and then I watched Alien vs. Predator again because I hadn't watched it. I might as well just give quick opinions. Predators, I thought was really boring. I thought the concept sounded good, and then I was shocked at how boring it was. But then you get to the last 20 minutes, and it has some cool parts. So there's like a few cool things in it. The end is kind of cool. The rest of it's shockingly boring for the cast and the concept. The Predator is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Shane Black, I don't know what happened to him in that movie. That movie is so bad. It's like Judd Apatow made a Predator movie and didn't change anything about his working methods to make it. It's terrible.
That's like the one I haven't seen. I've seen Predators. Thought it was decent. Like you said, it was like nice ending, kind of milquetoast otherwise, but yeah. And I haven't seen any of the Alien versus Predator movies.
Well, I've been going through this thing. Listeners of the show know I had a stroke at the end of January, so I've been home. I haven't been able to work, so I've been at home for the past 3 months, and I've been watching a lot of movies. And I've found an affinity for mid-2000s sci-fi action horror movies that I turned my nose up at the time. And I remember watching the Alien vs. Predator back when it came out and turning my nose up at it and being like, Paul Anderson's a hack. This movie's dumb. Why isn't it rated R? And watching it this time, it was like dumb fun. I actually enjoyed it. It's not a great movie at all.
You've come around and embraced the trash.
Yeah, it's like a 6 out of 10 movie. And I think you would say it's not trashy enough because it's PG-13, which is weird.
Yeah.
I really want to watch the unrated version now, which I think I have to buy the Blu-ray to do that. And I might do that because I enjoyed it enough to where it would be like a comfort watch. It's got like enough mid-2000s hallmarks and like the pseudo-archaeology angle to where I think I might do that. I did not rewatch Alien vs. Predator Requiem because it was so bad. I watched it back in the day. It's like a movie that was filmed in a garbage disposal. It's like the darkest movie ever shot. So I didn't want to watch that again.
Yeah. Did you rewatch Prey?
No, because Prey was so recent and I was not as high on that movie as most people.
I remember you not really digging it. I liked it all right. Yeah, I liked it a pretty good bit.
Yeah, that's what most people said. I liked it all right. I liked it a pretty good bit. And I said, I thought it was shit. Let's fight.
Let's fight. Yeah.
And then I saved Predator 1 for last because my thought was it's really good and everything else is going to pale in comparison. So let's not watch it first. Let's save it for last. Let's watch Predator 2 first, which is what I did.
Yeah.
Predator 1 is so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It may be perfect. It's nearly perfect. It's like a high 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's so good. It's so good. It's really good. 2 could not help but pale in comparison. But you know what?
Yeah.
After rewatching 2 multiple times over the past month and watching a lot of really bad Predator movies, particularly The Predator, it's my second favorite Predator movie, and I do believe I probably like it better than you do.
Probably so, but I mean, I can see how that would be valid, especially, like you said, not a great series. Comparing it to all the other stuff out there, it probably is the second best. So yeah, let's jump into it. You were talking about it's not very similar to the first Predator. You know, it's obviously set in the city, Los Angeles.
Not that it's not similar to, it's just that like the plot, it's not like you have to watch the first movie and know the plot of it to get into it. Because they actually have a lot of similarities.
Right. I feel like it is a well done sequel where you could watch this first and not really be confused or hung up and like you have to watch the first movie. But let's talk about that opening because I think this is one of the coolest parts of the movie, at least what they're playing with here. It goes from overview aerial shot of a forest or jungle type of landscape, and then we slowly reveal going from that into the city, into Los Angeles skyline. I thought that was a nice touch. Homage to the original being set in the jungle and then transitioning into the city. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Alan Silvestri came back to score the film. He scored the first Predator movie. Actually, a lot of people came back, like the screenwriters and Stan Winston, to do the creature effects. And the score here with the tribal drums and everything is just great. It just gets you in the mood for the movie. And you get the Predator's heat vision where he sees the skyscrapers. It's all very cool. And I like how you get this expanded heat vision where there's so much going on and then you get into it and it's this, you're in the dark future of 1997 where there are constant heat waves.
97, yes.
And there's gang warfare in the streets where the police are getting beat down by all these drug dealers.
Right. I love all these 90s movies that are like, we're going to set, early 90s movies set in like 97, or 98, 99, just a few years later, and like the world's just turned to shit. It's like, gang warfare everywhere, just everything blowing up, like hellscape. We talked about this in Demolition Man as well, which is the same thing.
It's really funny because if you think about it, the late 90s to most of the 2000s are like the peaceful, like, Hobbitshire time for most major cities in America, right?
Yeah, like things had calmed down. I mean, obviously I think Demolition Man itself was reacting to the LA, race riots and Rodney King and all that. But I mean, this is 90, so I guess just reacting to the crime of the 80s, being pretty rampant in New York City, at least, and probably LA as well. Like they talked about in the making of this, like making it an actual LA like alleyways and stuff, and just like people throwing bags of shit at him and like peeing on the wall, and just like
them hearing gunshots while they're
gunshots
filming.
And like the Crips protecting the crew at one point from other gangs. Like, obviously it was a wild time in LA in 90.
Yeah, and it's also fun to watch those featurettes and see how much all these people like working together. They even like working with Busey, who's just cutting up and being Busey the whole time. It seemed like this was a very harmonious production.
Yeah, even this is like right after Busey had his, was it like a motorcycle accident or car accident where he suffered brain damage? So this is like really where we start to see Busey just go off the rails a little bit. You see a twinkle of it here, but then you get more and more of it as you get into the 90s, especially starting with Point Break.
Well, if you get into the extras for this and watch Busey on set, there's a moment where he force feeds Maria Conchita Alonso an Oreo cookie and then gives like a scientific breakdown or a metaphysical breakdown of what the Oreo means. And then there's like a part where like he really, really, really is into his character, where he starts talking about like black holes and alien technology and like how like his character has to get it from the alien. And it's so good. And the cameraman realizes it's magic. He starts slow zooming on Busey's face into just like his eyes.
I wish they would have just used that in the movie. As much as this movie is like half ADR and cut up to shit, they could have just put that in this movie. Why not?
It's a mostly tamped down Busey, but he does have a few moments. Like there's the point where he definitely, it sounds like he ad-libbed the lions and tigers and bears, oh my, or at least the way that he said it is quite Busey.
He's on safari. Lions, the tigers, the bears, oh my.
Yes, quite Busey. But we kind of have to talk about the man of the hour here, Mr. Danny Glover. Before we're introduced to him, we have this kind of epic shootout between the cops and this gang. Man, there's just like, it's pretty brutal, like right from the beginning. You kind of know what you're getting into. Like you said, going from the heat vision of the Predator to we cut out of that with a explosion as this gang is just like bombing and opening fire and like grenade launchers and all sorts of stuff. Like, there's cops like dying left and right. It's just pretty crazy. And then enter Mr. Danny Glover. What did you think about him as Captain Hartigan?
I love him in this. I love how he comes into the scene in his giant sedan. Like immediately, like this guy's in charge. Like he drives in and smashes it into this blockade and gets out. He ends up pulling out this massive shotgun and blowing the bad guys away. I love how the Predator in the first film, it really does help to watch the first film and then watch this movie because there are some cool things that you notice. Where in that movie, the Predator immediately notices like, oh, Arnie is the boss here. I need to save Arnie for last and then go toe to toe with him because he's the king of the jungle. I like how the Predator is like, look at this guy. This guy is the king of this urban jungle. Like immediately you can tell like Danny Glover is the man. And dude, I don't know if many people realize how big of a guy Danny Glover is. He's actually bigger than Arnie. He's 6'4".
Really?
He's a huge man. Look, I gotta sing the praises of something I haven't got to sing the praises of in like 2 or 3 years. Lethal Weapon 4, Jordan. Lethal Weapon 4 has like the most awesome power scaling, like nerd rating fight at the end where if you like those X-Men cards from back in the day, like you like those, right? Where how everyone has like ratings for all their powers.
Right.
Where Danny Glover and Mel Gibson have to fight Jet Li, and Jet Li has like fighting ability 10, speed 10, strength 6, and then Mel Gibson is like 7, 7, 7. He's like the balance one. And then Danny Glover, it's like strength 10, skill 5, speed 4. And that fight is like the best strategic like power scaling to their abilities fight where Danny Glover just gets his ass kicked the whole fight and he only gets 3 hits in the whole fight. He's just cannon fodder because he's so slow, but his hits are so devastating because he's so big and they're so key to the fight. And that's how he is here. He's such a big dude, but he's following in Arnie's footsteps, and Arnie may be 2 inches shorter than him in real life. But Arnie, man, it's so hard to follow him.
It's so hard to follow Arnie, man.
But I do think he does a great job. And he did say later on in life, even though he'd starred in a lot of films, that there were only a couple movies where I felt like I was the man. And I felt like I was the man in this movie. Like I was the baddest cat in the jungle. Like I was a badass.
Yeah.
I really feel like I was in this movie. And I feel like he is, man.
All right. Well, I think this is where we're going to disagree a little bit because I don't really like Danny Glover.
Oh, get out of here! Forget you, Jordan.
Soon as he's introduced, man, I don't know. All right. So you do mention Lethal Weapon. Obviously, he's a huge presence in that series, and that's a huge part of his career. That's gonna follow him anywhere I see Danny Glover. I'm gonna think of him in Lethal Weapon, right? And I know there's parts of this with him that work, like especially where it feels like he's in over his head at the end. He's kind of average Joe Captain Cop, he's got to hunt down this alien, but he's obviously like outmatched. He's just got to like figure stuff out, and just go after him anyway. When he's climbing down the pipe at the end, he's like, maybe I'll get lucky and fall, that kind of stuff. But when he's like at the beginning of this movie where they're trying to position him, like you said, as like the man in charge, and he's like coming in here all badass and like he's going to take out this gang and stuff. Like that's what they want to do with him. But to me, he reads like very kind of like bumbling and goofy. Like I just find him very like goofy.
You anti-Gloverite.
These moments when he's trying to be like cool or badass. It just like, it feels like he's just like at any moment going to be like, I'm too old for this shit. Like he's just out of his element, and like he's tired and he's sweaty and he's all beat up looking, but at the same time he has to act like this badass hero. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't jive with me. Didn't work.
The crazy thing is you like Prey. And if Danny Glover from this movie fought Amber Midthunder,
I'm not talking about like his
physical strength. He would rip her fucking head off, okay?
I'm not talking about his physical strength or like how strong he is. I'm just talking about his persona as an actor in this role. That just doesn't work for me. I don't know. He just comes across as like, when he's like, he's got this big goofy gun, and he's like, when he's like whipping it about, like when he's like checking out a crime scene, or he's like coming into a room or whatever, and he's got to like turn this way to like see if a bad guy's over there, turn this way to see if a bad guy's over there. He just looks so like bumbling and goofy, man. I don't know. He just doesn't have the presence of an action hero for me.
Man, get out of here.
That's what I needed.
You know what's crazy though? He did play Lethal Weapon 3 years before this. So he was saying, I'm too old for this shit 3 years before this, which is kind of crazy. If
they had leaned more into that, basically, if he what's his character in Lethal Weapon? Murdoch?
It's Murtaugh.
Murtaugh, okay.
Murdoch is MacGyver's nemesis in MacGyver.
Okay, If they had leaned into him basically playing that same character, because I feel like that's kind of his persona, that's going to follow him no matter what, I guess, in my mind. Like, if they had leaned into that, and I feel like they kind of lean a little bit more into it at the latter half of this movie, where he's just like I said, you could almost hear him say, I'm too old for this shit. Like when he's like chasing after the predator, but you could tell he's just tired and beat, like that stuff works for me. But with him, like, screaming at the police chief and stuff, and, just busting up on the gang, and like, I don't know, just anytime he does any like action stunts or whatever, I'm just like, man, it just doesn't quite work for me, man. I wish they would have leaned into like the tired beat cop kind of angle of it. I feel like he would fit that role a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. As much as I disagree with you, I'm sure a lot of people have that opinion. He had starred in 2 Lethal Weapon movies before this even came out. So he played Murtaugh twice before he plays Lieutenant Mike Harrigan in this movie. But I liked him in this, and I like how they do like an analysis of him as a cop when they're looking at like his records, where it's like 40% more violent than a normal cop.
Right.
I don't know. I dug him a lot. I dug him a lot in this, and that is one thing that I remember even watching this back in the day. I enjoyed seeing him here on his own, not being like the second fiddle to Riggs as the action star, where he's the man. I gotta agree with him in real life. And it's interesting in the extras too, everyone's kind of in awe of him for whatever reason.
Yeah. And it sounds like he attracted a lot of people to the project, like bringing in Bill Paxton, and having his kind of day in the sun is really cool. Like I appreciate that. I don't know. I think it's just the lethal weapon of Danny Glover that I can't quite shake. And then having him as like 40% more violent than other cops. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't buy it.
I don't know. I liked him a lot. I can't really think of a single moment in the movie where he made an acting choice or there was something about him that I was like, this isn't working for me. He's like one of the best aspects of this movie for me, for sure.
Yeah, I could see how you would like the movie more than me then if you feel that way.
Yeah, and I have problems with the movie for sure, but he is not among them.
Gotcha. Well, what did you think about Bill Paxton?
He's great. He's Bill Paxton. He's always awesome. It's crazy that he got killed by the Terminator, and then he got killed by aliens, and then he gets killed by the Predator here. But
it's quite a legacy.
Yeah, I like that he has a nice arc here, though, because he shows up as apparently this cop that was the Lone Ranger. He was known for getting his partner killed and gone off on his own. And he kind of has to join this cop team, which I also liked in this movie. I like the little cop team that Danny Glover leads that he joins along with Maria Conchita Alonso, who's in our dear, dear favorite, Vampire's Kiss, along with Ruben Blades, who plays Detective Danny Archuleta. I like the four of them together. I thought they were quite good.
Yeah, it was a cool team.
Yes, but he has a great arc where he is kind of this lone loose cannon and Glover is kind of hard on him, and then he learns to be a part of the team, and then he sacrifices himself pretty nobly near the end of the movie in his death scene. I thought he did great. But I always think he does great.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Paxton's the man. Like, I'm going to love him in pretty much anything. I feel like he's one of those actors that always raises a movie for me. He just adds a certain kind of spark to it. So having that wild, goofy, comedic energy definitely helped this movie that it's pretty gruesome overall. Like, just, I forgot how violent and bloody and gruesome this movie is. So having a little bit of that comedy mixed in was a nice touch to lighten it up.
It is. The tone is something where I kind of wonder if the more that I watch the movie as I get older, maybe I'll just get more and more used to, okay, this is the tone of the movie. But it's a very dark, brutal, almost fatalistic tone. It's not a very, like, fun tone. Now, the first movie has a pretty dark tone, too, but not like this. There's a lot more cutting up early on.
Yeah. And I'd say overall, the first movie has a lighter, more just standard action vibe to it.
Right. There's not a scene where a hooker is nude, full frontal nudity, screaming in terror and just getting drenched in blood while a predator hacks people to pieces, while there's also a fully nude man hanging from the ceiling who's had a sword plunged into his chest so that his heart could be ripped out. That, there's nothing like that in the first movie.
Right. I guess they felt like they had to go more extreme here. I mean, notably, it was going to get an NC-17 rating, and they had to cut a lot of things out. Well, I'd say a lot, but, kind of trim down some of the more gruesome moments. But even with that, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, and I think some of that comes down to the director, who you don't have John McTiernan returning. John McTiernan, one of the greatest action film directors of all time, who went on an insane run of Predator, Die Hard, and The Hunt for Red October, arguably like the best 3-film run as far as action films go ever. Insane. So he bows out here for The Hunt for Red October, which was also released in 1990. And you have Stephen Hopkins, who's claim to fame before this was nothing because he wasn't famous. He had done the 5th Nightmare on Elm Street movie and one Australian horror film because that's where he's from. And he's a really interesting choice for this movie. Jordan, would you say that Stephen Hopkins is kind of the 90s king of the, I guess that was all right, action movie?
What else did he do after this? I remember looking at his filmography.
After Predator 2, he made Judgment Night, which...
Oh, that's right.
Our friend Jackson Bourne, who's been on here for Star Wars Episode 1, Speed, Last Action Hero, he's guest hosted. He loves that movie. I don't.
I like it.
Well, let me tell you why I don't love it. I basically had a gun placed in my hand from birth, Jordan. I could load, unload it, break it down, clean it. There's a moment early in that film where the characters are in duress, and one of them happens to grab a gun that falls down to him, and he just pulls the trigger a bunch of times and doesn't hit anything. And then for the rest of the movie, the other characters are like, well, you know what, after the way that you handled that gun, like he did something really competent. And even as a 12-year-old, when that movie was released, that bothered me so badly. I was like, he didn't handle the gun well at all. He handled it horribly. Yeah, right. These damn city folk don't know what they're talking about. I hate this movie, and I've never given it another chance, Jordan, ever. So,
yeah,
I'm biased there.
He made that, and then you mentioned Nightmare of Elm Street. I'm thinking maybe coming off of that horror movie influenced Predator 2 to have some of those more horrific moments in it.
Right. Maybe that's why they brought me here, because I'm a horror director.
Yeah.
He did Blown Away After Judgment Night, which is
all right, sure.
It's like the meh twist on Speed. And then he did The Ghost in the Darkness, which on paper, you're like, man, Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer, rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Fighting lions. This movie's gonna rule. And then you watch it and it's like, that was all right, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I remember liking it. I remember our good friend Sean liking it a whole lot. It's been a long time, so I'd have to revisit that to really know. But yeah, I'd say he's an okay director. Yeah, all in all.
Yeah, he's an okay director.
Not great, but not terrible. Journeyman competence, maybe.
I actually like a lot of his camera movements and camera placement in this film. I think he does some kind of comic book-like stuff that works well, that I enjoy, but at the same time, I don't really feel like he's great at directing action scenes. I don't feel like the action is very competently directed in some of the action scenes in this movie. It's okay. It's fine, but again, you're coming off of McTiernan, who's top tier, one of the greatest action directors who's ever lived.
Right.
You're going to have a tough time matching up. And that's, to me, one of the biggest weaknesses in this film is there are some standout set pieces for sure. Yeah. Especially late in the movie. But a lot of these, it's just like someone is shooting a gun and the camera's tracking with the gun. Then someone else is shooting a gun. And I don't know, it's just not very thrillingly shot or edited.
Yeah. And I mean, there are a lot of deaths in this and a lot of moments of just the Predator going after somebody and killing them, right? Very similar to I Come in Peace, where I'm just oh, another moment where someone's being killed. Some random new person we don't know. That can get a little tiresome when, like you said, the action is not super well done. Sometimes it's just close up or, just blurred or shaky cam of something happening, someone being eviscerated or it cutting away. And I mean, some of that might have had to do with them having to edit around some of the more gruesome stuff they did film. That's possible. What would you say about the Predator himself, the City Hunter, as he's been dubbed?
I really enjoyed him. I mean, you have most of the same team coming back to do the makeup work for him. You have the same exact guy in the suit, Kevin Peter Hall, but I love that very intentionally he changed his performance here, and I saw a great interview with him talking about it. This is a different Predator. This guy is younger than the Predator in the previous movie. He's less experienced, and he said he played him a lot wilder. He's a wilder, cockier, less experienced Predator. And you can see that in his behavior and in Peter Hall's movements with him. He's just kind of a wild and crazy guy who he just he has a lot more flourishes. He just slaughters a lot of people when he doesn't really have to.
That wild, crazy Predator. That silly old Predator.
Right. He doesn't kill Maria Conchita Alonso late in the movie because he sees she's pregnant, following the Predator code. He doesn't kill a child at one point when he can, following the Predator code. But he kills a lot of people he doesn't have to. He does a lot of little flourishes that he doesn't really have to. And he's not quite as smart as the Predator in the first movie because he's just not as old and as experienced. Yeah. Because, I mean, Schwarzenegger in the first movie realizes that the Predator is so smart, he's got to basically use a two-step trap to kill him at the end. Because he's he's going to figure out this first thing I do, and it's not going to work. I actually have to plan a backup trap to kill him, or else I'm going to lose. And I don't think you have to do that with this guy. He falls for the rope-a-dope twice believably falls for the rope-a-dope twice from Glover and dies.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty stupid. Of the Predator at the end where Glover's just kind of bowed over like he's been beat. So, I mean, at the same time, Glover does fall for the rope-a-dope twice too. Or at least once, maybe. So basically, yeah, in that like slaughterhouse scene at the end where he goes and takes off his mask, right? And then he gets thrown across the room.
Yeah.
You are one ugly...
Yeah, and then the Predator finishes it for him because all the Predators have heard the recording from the first Predator when Schwarzenegger said that to him.
It's so goofy, and like we get the face of the Predator, which is cool, but then like it saying motherfucker is like so goofy. I just bust out laughing every time I see that part.
It is pretty goofy. I do enjoy that slaughterhouse scene as an action scene once Glover shows up. And I like the rope-a-dope he pulls there where he's got the shotgun tucked in and he starts screaming like he's scared and he runs away from the Predator to where the Predator's just chasing him through the meat thing. And when he gets to the wall, he does a quick turnaround and he's got a fully loaded shotgun and he just blows the Predator away. It's pretty gnarly. He's just blasting him and that glowing glow stick blood is just flying everywhere. They really use glow sticks to get the blood.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that part. But I mean, again, I love Glover in this. So I
like that.
That was nice.
I thought that was a cool part too. Yeah. And that basically we finally get to see somebody inflict pain on the Predator.
And he inflicts a lot of pain because, again, this Predator is younger and less experienced and he leaves himself open to attacks more. And we've really skipped around the plot. I don't think there's any problem with that with this movie because the plot is just that the Predator is hunting Glover, but he decides, like, I'm going to kill all the drug dealers in this town. Like, I want to kill everyone before you and your whole team except your pregnant partner. Before I kill you, I'm going to save you for last, and then we're going to go mano a mano. But I like that Glover just keeps inflicting pain on him because they end up on the rooftop after this, and he ends up chopping off one of the Predator's arms. I love the scene where they're both dangling from the building. What did you think about that moment?
That's a cool moment. The moment right before that where like he finds his spear, and I guess... I mean, maybe this goes into the cockiness of the Predator like you're talking about. I do think the look of the Predator is really cool in this, to go back to that conversation real quick. They made him look a little bit more angular. He's got the dreads, of course. He's got all these new weapons that we get to see. He's got this spear that extends. And so Glover finds that on the roof after they've had a little battle. And maybe it's the cockiness of the Predator. He's like on the edge of the building. I don't know, kind of preening, or like, what is he doing there? Kind of showing off, maybe?
But he's also jacked up because this is after Glover has shot him so many times and ripped his mask off.
Yeah. So, but it's just kind of a goofy moment where Glover grabs the spear and like knocks him off the edge, but then also falls off the edge himself. Maybe it's the direction there, or maybe I'm blaming Glover for it, but...
Yeah, because you're an anti-Gloverite.
That's right. It just feels really goofy, like, what? Like, that doesn't feel well put together, but I guess we have to end up on the side of the building somehow. But once we get there, it's cool. Like you said, you've got this razor sharp disc again, just like in I Come in Peace, that's stuck in the side of the building. Glover's going for it for like 5 minutes. I'm wondering why the Predator doesn't try and stop him from doing that. He's just kind of like, just like dangling there, not doing anything. But Glover finally gets the razor disc and cuts off the Predator's arm, which is pretty badass. So I did like that part. And the whole scene where they like crashed, like the Predator crashes into the lady's bathroom, and then he starts doing a little like triage on himself, like makes this jelly in the sink and like puts it on his wound and heals himself up, and he's starting to scream and stuff. And the lady in her little like moo or whatever is getting the broom and trying to figure out like who's in her bathroom. I thought all that was pretty great.
Yeah, but I like how he also pulls out the shot with like, I guess the endorphins from I Come in Peace or something, or just like, I think it's like an adrenaline shot to like jack himself up.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And then he just like bulls his way through all the walls, which is pretty great.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
And then Glover goes after him. Before we go to the climax, is there anything that we skipped that you want to get into?
Voodoo Man.
Oh,
Subway
Voodoo Man!
Scene. Yeah, the Voodoo Man.
Voodoo Man's death scene is the best thing that Hoskins does in this entire movie, in my opinion.
Well, it does just like cut to his head screaming, and then it's the Predator walking away with his disembodied head.
If you're enjoying the brutal, dark, fatalistic tone of the movie, when things are really starting to go south, see that the drug dealers are getting killed. And at first the cops think the drug dealers are killing the drug dealers, but the drug dealers think the cops are killing the drug dealers, or the feds are killing them. And finally it's like, okay, something else is going on. So Glover has a meeting with the lead drug guy, who's freaky, man. This dude's freaky.
Yeah, he's pretty freaky.
He's like the evil voodoo Afrikaans guy. They meet in this alleyway, and he's like, basically like, this guy's like a spirit. Like, he's from the beyond. Like, you can't hurt him. He's like a ghost that just comes in. He's going to kill all of us. And Glover's like, well, that doesn't make me feel any better. And he leaves. And the Predator's been watching them, of course. And it's waited for Glover to leave so he can kill the evil voodoo guy. And like you said, he jumps down. The voodoo guy pulls out his snake cane sword.
Right. I would have liked to see like a more extended fight between them, like Voodoo Man doing some magic or like holding his own with his snake cane or something, but it just cuts immediately to his head being ripped off.
Yeah, and it's like the editing magic where he's screaming, and then you cut to the Predator holding his screaming head that's just like frozen in place because it's been cut off as he was screaming, as he's walking through the street with it, just dragging it.
I'd like to see that unedited scene though. Obviously they had to cut some stuff out there. That would have been a cool fight.
Yeah, I'm torn because it would have been cool, but at the same time, like the editing there, it's so magical and atmospheric. When he kills King Willie, the boss of the Jamaica Voodoo Posse.
I like how they're a Jamaican voodoo posse, but looking at the trivia, at least, that like voodoo is from Haiti, not Jamaica. And I like how this guy calls Glover Babylon, which is like the Jamaican term for police. So I just thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, right. And they're in a drug war against the Colombians, man.
Yeah.
This movie's something.
It's all over the place.
Right.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and you have so much stuff going on because you have the cops coming down on Glover, and then you have the feds who they're telling Glover to stay out, but the reason they want him to stay out is they know the Predator is involved and they want its technology. And of course, They're led by Busey, and they're led by Adam Baldwin, who isn't related to the other Baldwins, but he's pretty great. He's in a lot of stuff. Know him best from Firefly on TV, but he's in a lot of other things. And we're at the end of the movie, Jordan. Everybody's basically dead or hauled off on a stretcher except for Glover and the Predator.
Oh, well, what about Busey's death scene? I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Busey gets blown up by the Predator at one point, and you just think he's dead. But then right as Glover's about to be taken out by the Predator, of course, somebody's got to pop in and save him. Busey pops in. He's been just like burned. He's like all bloody and crispy looking. And so he tries to take out the Predator, but he gets sliced in half, and we just see like the bottom half of his body like fall to the floor, and the organs all fall everywhere. Apparently there was another cutting thing where like the top half of his body was held against a column by the razor disc. And then when the Predator retracts it, then we would have seen the top half of Busey fall. But yeah, that explains why you only see his legs.
Right. I wonder if there's ever going to be an unrated version of this.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool to see all that stuff they had to take out.
Oh, man. I just happened to go to Wikipedia to just pull some basic random fact for something I was about to say. And they quote the Danny Glover interview I watched. And I hate that because now it looks like I just read that he said he was the baddest. Who's the baddest cat in your space? It says that here on Wikipedia. So now when I said that and someone's listening for the first time, they're going to be like, you just read Wikipedia to prep for this. Damn it, I didn't. I watched a bunch of documentaries and he said that.
I want credit, damn it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you wrote the Wikipedia article based on the features that you watch. We don't know. We don't know your Wikipedia screen name.
Right. So I used to edit a lot of entries, and then all these stupid nerds got on here and stopped me editing. They were like, no, you can't edit that. That's not important. No.
I like how there's multiple episodes of you lamenting the Wikipedia nerds.
Yeah, Wikipedia sucks now, but I will say I've started to very subtly start editing things again, and they haven't noticed. Like, the hall monitors are gone.
The hall monitors haven't caught on yet.
Right.
Nice.
So I don't want to go too crazy. Maybe I'll remove this stuff from the Predator 2 entry.
Just to make you look better.
To make me look better, yeah.
No, it's good. It's there for a reason, Nick. Don't tamper with it for your own pride's sake. But anyway, the ending of this movie.
I wanted to look at the box office weekend. Man, that's like the weekend of the disappointing sequel, even though I enjoy this movie overall, because you also had Rocky V, which is the worst Rocky movie, Three Men and a Little Lady, which is nowhere near as good as Three Men and a Baby, but then you also had the originals, Dances with Wolves and Home Alone, which just cleaned up and slaughtered all these sequels. So anyway. Oh, and Jordan, I played the Sega Genesis Predator 2 game all the way through, and it's just, it's like the movie. It's like, that was okay. It's not a great game. It's like a good weekend rental. I beat it in like 3 or 4 hours. It was all right. Oh, you know what you do, though, Jordan?
Is it like a side-scroller, or what is it?
It's a top-down view game where you kill like 1,000 drug people, and they drop syringes, and you pick up their drugs for points. And every 50,000 points, you get an extra life. They have hostages, and you have to rescue their hostages, and the alien is trying to kill their hostages. Just like the movie, right?
Just like the movie. Wild.
Yeah. But the ending. What'd you think about the gnarly alien ship? Because the alien ship is like beneath this apartment building, and that's why the alien has been going to the slaughterhouse there.
That was like a pretty kind of far out, trippy turn, right? Like, I really like the imagery there of him climbing down this elevator shaft, and then there's a hole at the bottom of the shaft that the Predator's gone through, or at least he's following him, not really sure where he's going. And then you just have this cool shot of Glover hanging from the hole into like the black abyss, and then he has to fall because the elevator is coming down on him. Somebody's in the elevator above him. He's like, stop the elevator. And he falls into this black abyss, and then he's on this ship, and he's going through this like really wild looking entryway into the ship at one point with the hieroglyphic type of stuff on the walls glowing, and there's just fog everywhere. Can't even see the floor because they couldn't afford the floor for this set. But yeah, and then you get this pretty cool battle between the Predator and Glover. Again, my anti-Gloverness takes over here a little bit. It's like kind of goofy. He's got this disc. He's fighting this big badass Predator, but somehow he's holding his own. I have a hard time believing it. And then, yeah, the rope-a-dope, like you said, where he's just like kneeling down, and then all of a sudden he pops up and sticks the razor disc in the Predator's stomach. It's like, it's okay. It's not terrible, but again, it's just like, all right, I guess that could have been better, but we got to end this somehow. That'll do.
Yeah, it's fine. I do think that the Predator is so jacked up by this point. I mean, he's just drenched in Predator blood. And also, Glover is very large. If the Predator was at 100%, I don't think Glover would have beat him in this fight. But because the Predator is so jacked up, I think that his I come in peace endorphin adrenaline shot is worn off.
Is worn off.
He ran through too many walls.
Yeah.
And now that they're in this gnarly Mayan-influenced spaceship, which has an alien skull on the wall, I like that it has all the skulls that he's taken. That launched the entire Alien vs. Predator 2 movie franchise.
Right, just from that one image, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. And Jordan, one thing that I remember from watching this the first time where I was like, well, now what is he going to do? Is when he kills the Predator, all of a sudden, like 10 Predators walk into the room.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I like that whole scene.
Yeah, and stupid Wikipedia, there was another line, and I see it's here too, where Winston was talking about how his team was talking about how snakes look similar but slightly different. So they made the Predator like, okay, this is still a snake, but it looks different from the other snake. But damn it, that's on Wikipedia too.
How dare Wikipedia quote things and get it right?
Those bastards. Everyone should have to watch 14 hours of DVD extras like I do.
Yeah, you could have just read the Wikipedia article. But yeah, that is a cool moment. You have all these Predators pop up and it's like, oh, damn. Like, now what is he going to do? And he has the gall to say, all right, who's next? Which is kind of cool. And then they just carry the dead Predator away and give him an old flint stock gun. And basically, what does the Predator say? Take this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb, but
I liked it. I like that it's just like, wait, what? Because they're aliens and their honor code. I mean, I feel like Glover can kind of understand, like, okay, well, I guess I beat their guy, and they're like, all right, you won fair and square, here you go. But at the same time, like, what? Like, what just happened? And I like that they give him this old pistol from 1750, and it's just kind of like, wait, what? And what were those weird skulls on the wall? What the hell's going on? And then there's no time for him to figure anything out because the ship is leaving and the doors are shutting and he has to run out. So I kind of like the weirdness there.
Yeah, I like the kind of weird ambiguity, or like, yeah, you have to basically just assume, all right, this was all what, like a, for a trophy for a hunting party. He survived, so he gets the prize in the end. It's like the most dangerous game kind of thing. I think it works. It's cool. I know there's an alternate ending where they come in and they finish off the dying Predator for Glover, or I guess because, he's defeated him mostly or basically, and they kind of like shame the city hunter and kill him, which, that might have been kind of cool too, to see that.
Also, Danny Glover was 43 when he filmed this, Jordan. That's how old I am. My stroke-ridden ass is 43.
Old ass Danny Glover.
So, you know what? I'm even more on his side now, you damn anti-Gloverite.
He doesn't look 43, man. He looks like he's pushing 60. He looks so tired and old in this.
He is the same age as I am right now in this movie. That is insane.
It doesn't help that he's like just constantly drenched in sweat and his shirt is full of sweat, sweat stain.
Well, that's supposed to be the thing, right? The Predators are drawn to heat waves where there's a lot of violence. That's where they like to hunt.
And here we are in Los Angeles.
Right. All right. Well, Predator 2, Jordan. What score would you give this?
I think when I watched this like not too long ago, maybe last year, might have given it like a 2.5. But I'd say I probably enjoyed it overall a little bit more this time. I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Oh, man. You know what? This is pretty funny, actually. We just have flip-flop scores for the movies that aren't that different. Yeah, well, my score, my superior 10 score.
7.
With larger numbers, I give it a 7 out of 10.
Nice. And speaking of the heat and the sweat, that was going to be my movie connection to Wild at Heart, which is also just full of lots of sweat and fire imagery.
Nice. My connection is there's a very famous beheading in that movie at the end where Willem Dafoe gets his head shot off. And here, the coolest moment of the movie is where Willie gets his head chopped off, and you have a really, really cool, I guess if you're really into killer alien movies, iconic beheading. So, beheadings, that's my connection.
Beheadings. Very nice. Very nice. Well, sir, are you ready for the trivia battle?
Pop quiz, asshole.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think I am. I think so.
All right.
It's your pick
All right.
next time. I'm really curious with these 1990 movies what you're going to pick.
Where am I going to go?
You surprised me last time. I don't know what you're going to pick for the next one.
I just came up with my punishment and my main pick for next time, and I'm pretty pumped, pretty excited. So we'll get there after this.
Okay, rad. I know a lot of listeners wanted Predator 2 and have wanted it for a long time. And I really wanted to cover this. As soon as you said 1990, I said, I got to do Predator 2 this year. So I'm glad that I can actually oblige, because people a lot of times will ask for a movie, and I'm like, dang, like I was planning on doing that in like 4 years, and I can't bump it up. I'm sorry.
Right.
But I'm glad that we could oblige with Predator 2 here.
Nice.
And I'm psyched for whatever your next choice is. My trivia questions are all around an actor we actually didn't talk about. It's an actor that I like a lot. Can you guess who it is? Because we keep doubling up on who our questions are about. Actually, we only did it once, but it shook me to my core so much I feel like we've done it more than that.
An actor that from Predator 2?
Yes, an actor from Predator 2. I'll tell you, Jordan.
Ruben Blades?
All my questions are about Robert Davi.
Robert Davi. Who did he play?
He was his boss in this movie.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He was Deputy Chief Phil Heineman. But as a kid, I knew him from The Goonies and a lot of other movies that I liked. And all my questions are about him. What are your questions about?
Who's he in The Goonies? Or is that one of your questions?
It'll be one of the questions.
Okay. All my questions are about Stan Winston.
Ooh, that's
Or
cool.
the Stan Winston studio.
Rad. Does that feed into your next choice by any chance?
Maybe a little bit. There's definitely a connection somewhat.
I guess I'll go first.
All right.
Since this was my pick.
I'm going to totally fail because I don't know a lot about this guy.
I don't feel like my questions are that bad. All right. Robert Davi is the bad guy in which 1980s Bond film? A. Octopussy, B. A View to a Kill, C. The Living Daylights, or D. License to Kill?
No idea. License to Kill?
Yes, you guessed right.
Oh, nice. All right, cool.
He's so good in License to Kill. That is the most underrated Bond film. One of my favorite Bond films, and he is just so badass as the villain in it.
Nice. So, my first question, which of the following films did Stan Winston direct in addition to doing special effects? Was it A, The Relic, B, Pumpkinhead, C, The Fly, or D, Gremlins?
I feel like it's either The Relic or Pumpkinhead. I'm just going to go with The Relic. No. Pumpkinhead. It's Pumpkinhead. It's Pumpkinhead. It's Pumpkinhead.
You can't change it like
it's
that.
It's Pumpkinhead. No, it's
right.
not. I know The Relic is. It's what's his face. It's another journeyman guy.
Yeah.
It's Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. He did Pumpkinhead. Fair warning, I got all these questions from ChatGPT. I'm like reading the multiple choice. I'm like, The Fly, Gremlins. That's terrible choices.
What?
So
come on.
That's bad on me for
Now you were just giving me grief for changing my answer before you told me if I was right or wrong.
That's right. Hey, at least I'm honest.
Yeah, Peter Hyams, who also did End of Days, he did The Relic. Yeah, another journeyman whose movies you're like, it was okay.
Yeah, like Peter Hyams.
All right. My next question, which I wrote and didn't use ChatGPT to get the answers for. Again, my favorite movies here. Davey played Special Agent Johnson in 1988's Die Hard. Who played the other Special Agent Johnson in that movie? Was it Michael Lee Winters, Grand Lee Bush, Joseph Lee Pecker, Reginald Vell Johnson, or Mace Me?
Reginald Vell Johnson?
No, he played the policeman. The other Special Agent Johnson, of which there were two, was Grand Lee Bush.
Oh, okay.
They had the great moment together.
I was in junior high, dickhead.
Nice.
Yeah. I've watched Die Hard like 600 times. So.
Right. All right. So, which of the following Marvel characters did Stan Winston help bring to life with his studio's practical suit design? Was it A, Spider-Man, B, Iron Man, C, Hulk, or D, Wolverine?
I know that this is like way less of having to bring something to life, but did he help with Spider-Man?
No, he helped with Iron Man, apparently.
Iron Man.
For the 2008 film.
Fair enough.
I'm going to fact check that while you ask the next question.
Oh my gosh, you don't even know if that's right?
No, yeah, he did. He definitely did do the Iron Man suit, so.
All right.
Good job, ChatGPT.
Whatever.
The AI has leaked into from our Patreon to
gross
our main episode.
That's disgusting. Disgusting. All right. It's nastier than the Predator's face, which Danny Glover
right? Are you going to say his line?
He so eloquently refers to the Predator's face in this movie as
"Okay, pussy face."
Another laugh out loud moment.
So good.
So good.
I might go up to an 8.
I might go to a 3.25.
All right, Jordan. Here's my most jerkish question.
Bring it on.
In which of the 1992 Columbus movies did Davy star as Martin Pinzon?
What?
Was it A, 1492 Conquest of Paradise? B?
Sure.
Wrong, it was Christopher Columbus, The Discovery.
All right, damn it. So close.
You almost had it.
Almost had it.
All right, ChatGPT. What's my next question?
What's our status here?
If I get this right, I win.
Okay, cool. This is my last question so far. I can make ChatGPT make some more though.
Questions. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. So, which film features early Stan Winston creature effects involving a mutated bear? Was it A, Day of the Animals, B, Grizzly 2, Revenge, C, The Prophecy, or D, The Howling?
Man, I don't know. You said early Winston? Well, The Prophecy is not early for Winston. What were the other choices?
Well, its Prophecy is 1979.
Oh.
It's a different prophecy.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll guess that then.
There you go.
Yay!
You got it.
Hooray! I win.
I've never seen The Prophecy, 1979.
Yeah, I just know the Christopher Walken one.
Yeah, that's the one I know too. But I have seen the cover. If you look at the cover of the 1979 Prophecy movie, it's pretty gnarly, and it's got a mutated looking bear thing inside a embryo or something, an egg.
Oh, it's like a Frankenheimer movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
I need to watch this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you my last question just for fun. It's actually not my last. I have more questions, but just let me ask you this one. What was the name of the crime family to which Davy belonged in 1985's The Goonies? It was because we mentioned that I had a Goonies question earlier, so.
Oh, that's who he played in The Goonies. Yeah, give me the choices.
All right, I'll be disappointed if you don't know this. Was it A, the Spinellis, B, the Fratellis, C, the Frigolis, or D, the Spinolis?
It's the Fratellis, right?
Yes, good job, buddy.
Yeah. I knew once I heard it, I would know it, but I was like, wait, I need the choices.
You might have lost the trivia battle, but you won my heart. I love you, ChatGPT. I mean, Jordan.
I've been replaced this whole time. You were talking to the ChatGPT. So, since I brought up Stan Winston, that does kind of lead to our next film somewhat, being that he often works with creatures. But first, I have to give myself this punishment. So, the punishment film for next time is going to be a film that also features a creature, which is a gnome named Norm. Are you familiar with this movie?
No.
So, a gnome named Norm, as you can imagine. It's about a young boy and his friend who's a gnome who's like a puppet or some sort of animatronic type of creature. And so to pair that off, which, you know, it's probably going to be god awful. It's got a 4 out of 10 on IMDb.
I'm looking at the poster. It looks bad.
It's a Los Angeles police detective partners up with a talking gnome in order to bring down the head of a crime ring. Oh, and it's directed by Stan Winston. I didn't even realize that, honestly. And Anthony Michael Hall is the lead actor. So that is going to be a punishment movie.
Please tell me that the main movie is better than this.
The main movie is going to be Gremlins 2.
Ooh, okay, all right.
A new batch.
Going back to sequels.
Going back to sequels, baby. That's right. So Stan Winston was not the creature guy on Gremlins 2. It was Rich Baker, I believe. Rick Baker.
Yeah, this is another one where when it came out, it got kind of a tepid reaction, but then people were like, with Predator 2, there's a huge cult following that sprung up around the movie where people are like, I love Predator 2, where there's a few people that think it's better than the first one, which, I mean, whatever floats your boat, but there are people now who swear by Gremlins 2. Like, it's an amazing movie. It's great.
I love Gremlins 2. I'll just put that out there. I mean, I love the first one, but I feel like, yeah, the last time I watched Gremlins 2, I had so much fun, and it was one of those that just, like, really stuck with me growing up. All the different types of gremlins that we get, just the ridiculousness, you know, the over-the-top wackiness of Gremlins 2. Definitely feel like it's a Jordan pick and a Filmshake type movie. So I'm excited about this pairing of these creature movies, Gremlins 2 and a gnome named Norm. So
I'm interested to go back to watch this because the first Gremlins scared the ever living hell out of me when I was a little kid. It came out in 1984. I watched it when I was a little tyke, and it scared the crap out of me. It was like Temple of Doom in 84 as well, where it just felt like any kid that was born in the early 80s or late 70s, for some reason, Steven Spielberg just wanted you to go to therapy for the rest of your life. And then Gremlins 2 comes out, and it's not like that at all. And I remember being disappointed. Like, this isn't, like, scaring me at all. I mean, I know I'm older, but this isn't scary. And I never watched it again, so I'm actually looking forward to watching it again.
Cool. Yeah, so you haven't watched it since then. That's cool.
It's supposed to be more of a comedy, right?
Yeah, it's definitely more comedic, and maybe that's why I like it. I tend to gravitate towards the horror comedy stuff. But yeah, and it's like Gremlins 1 has that kind of perfect blend of all those things, and then this definitely leans into the wacky. So cool. That'll be our next episode 93. Gremlins 2 and a gnome named Norm. Hope you guys will watch along with us and enjoy. Come back for our discussion. So thanks for listening. We appreciate all our patrons who support us over at patreon.com/filmshake. You can sign up for bonus episodes over there. We'll have some new stuff coming out soon, hopefully. And yeah, awesome. Thank you guys so much. And we'll catch you next time for more Filmshake.
Take it easy. There's a hooker who's fully frontal noodle. Who's
noodle. Bluesy.
When I don't have to keep a spit bucket on my bed, that's going to be a great day.